Welcome once again to the network. This is our opportunity of putting a green book in the form of a podcast. Every interview is designed to help you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Today's guest is a great brother by the name of Alton Bell. He earned his accounting degree from Southern University A&M College in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This brother is an enrolled agent, but I'm going to let him tell you more about that himself. Y'all welcome this brother Alton Bell. AB, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Mike, for having me on here. Um, it's very much appreciated, no matter what platform it's on. Just to be able to chop it up with you and being able to tell your story is definitely an honor. So much respect. Appreciate it.
Man, you're welcome. You're welcome. So, man, introduce yourself to our listeners, or if they're watching by YouTube, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about Alton Bell.
Okay. Alton Bell, as you stated, I'm here in Chicago. Um, Product of Chicago. Got my schooling down in Southern University, Baton Rouge. Got my accounting degree there. From there, went into corporate America. Um, Ended up in corporate America for about 9 years. Started my own business from there, accounting firm, and been in business 13 years now. So it's been a blessing. Been married to my wonderful wife, Dewan Johnson Bell. She's a resident. Well, she comes from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So I brought the Southern girl up to Chicago. We've been married 10 years now. Got two wonderful boys, a 7-year old and a 3-year old. That adds so much color to our lives, keeps us on our toes. So we're both entrepreneurs. So we got a busy life, a hectic life, and at the end of the day, we got a blessed life. So let me say that. So that's pretty
That's
much
good.
about me. I mean, it's a lot of things, roles and caps that I wear, but at the end of the day, I'm a husband and a father. They're the two most important things to me.
Definitely, definitely. You mentioned that you wear a lot of caps. What are some of those caps that Alton wears? What are some of those roles that you play?
Man, so about being a business owner, I'm a leader. So I have to lead my employees. Also show them, you know, what being a good person is, because in order to be a good business person, you need to have some good things, good deeds about you, some good standards in the way you live your life. So it's just not conducting the business. They watching how you live your life as well. So that's one thing in regards to that. And then the clients that I have, just from personal income tax all the way to my business owners, they look at me as, what type of advice can they get from me, or financial advice to help them build their business. And they're dependent on their business to, deliver their dreams, buy homes, send kids to college, save for retirement. So you got that role that I'm playing. And then in the church, I'm a ordained deacon since 2013. So I got that role in the church. You got to be a living word instead of being a talking word. So you got to kind of live that in all aspects of the life. I'm a brother to three younger siblings. Uh, so I always carry that with me about, being a protector of women from early on in life. And
Mhm.
then even on my father's side, the first grandchild to graduate with a college degree. So a lot of things, brother, a lot of things, and that's just probably just the tip of the iceberg. But
Okay, okay. You mentioned being the first to graduate from college. You got a great story about that. But before you tell that story, I definitely want you to tell that story.
okay,
Um, Man, just listening to you talk about the different hats that you wear, do you ever feel pressure? Like
definitely,
do you ever okay.
definitely. I mean, it's inherent pressure. No matter what part of life you in, you're gonna get pressure. Too much is given, much is expected. So
Mhm.
you have to
Mhm.
take a step back and just evaluate, or take a deep breath, or even just pray sometimes, or internalize things to say, hey, let me make sure I'm making the wisest decision here. So I mean, the pressure is there day in and day out. It's just really how you deal with it. I don't think the thing is you can't let the pressure get you down. It helps build character, so you need to be learning from it.
Okay. Man, just business owner, husband, father, deacon, leader, etc., etc., etc. When you feel that pressure, what do you do to kind of relieve that pressure or relax, or what do you have, a ritual, or what is your stress reliever? Because I know I'm just just listening to all of those different hats that you wear, all those different roles that you play. you know um I'm guessing that sometimes you feel you know like, okay, every day I gotta walk this line.
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know
So by you, I know you mentioned dinking. I know the the first answer people would say, or the church or the Christian folks would say, pray. That's part
right,
of my
right.
everyday life. But I mean, my wife is my um, biggest relief. So let me say that. To be honest, I'm gonna be straight candid with you. As a man, that's that's some person that I rock with, that I'm able to chat with every night, every morning. That helps me get through it. Um, Typically, what I do, I work out 3 or 4 times a week. Now that it's warm here in Chicago, I'm literally like right across from the lakefront, so I go out there and try to run or ride my bike on the lakefront, throwing some good music, some '90s music or some old school music, and so that's really what gets me through. It helps me relieve and get going for the day. Honestly, it's a different day because I didn't go running this morning, and I for some reason I feel a little bit drained or lethargic, and I'm like, wow, like this, it's crazy how the day is different when you don't get that little burn or sweat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, shout out to your wife. Shout out to all the brothers who got good wives. But even further than that, shout out to all the good wives out there,
Yeah.
because we know that our wives really hold us down. So, man, you got a great story um, about being at Southern University. So, man, I want to give you the space to share that story with us.
Yeah, man. I came to Southern, by being the first time going to college within my family, first generation. I thought it was like high school. I know in high school we had like little fees or whatever, but you could sign the paper and set up a payment plan and go. I got to Southern. I hadn't filled out no FAFSA. I just know I had the acceptance letter. I need to go register. So I came down to Southern, had my dorm, had my suitcase, all that good stuff. Moved in, went down to to the mini dome at the time. You stand in the big line, you see people, you
All
register.
day.
Yeah, you get. So I got the fees, and I'm like, how? I guess I'm like, so okay, like yeah, it's 4,000 or 5,000, whatever it was back then. You had the out of state fee, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, like it's a payment plan, right? And they're like, well, you got to pay that. I'm like, now, like all at once. They like, yes, all at once, and I'm like, I was at loss of words, so I just had to go over in a mini dome and find a seat by myself and just kind of sit there and take in this information. Like, wow, like
What year is this?
this is '97. This is fall '97.
Okay. Fall of 1997. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. So I'm just like, wow, like what do I do? So you know how it is. At some point, Southern gets to the point housing, they're about to kick you out the dorm. So I went, talked to the housing director, tried to get an extension. They gave me like 2 extensions. Um, and then it got to the point where I did do financial aid, and the financial aid takes forever to process. Um, and
Yes, it does.
and the only way I can actually get in school was, they about to kick out my classes and all that. Well, they did kick out my classes. I did the re-registration, got back in classes. They're about to kick them out again. So I needed financial aid. About to get kicked out of school, and I remember um, you know how everyone comes to school, they're in the back, all the kids are in the back between Jones and Bowley Hall having a good time. And I just remember looking out the
Yeah.
window, everyone's having a good time. And I'm like, man, like, why I can't, you know, I want to go to college, I want an education. Why can't I just be, have a good time, everything set up for me? So I remember getting on my knees, crying and praying that God will make a way. Um, but at the same time, um, you gotta faith without works is dead. So I went to, financial aid, harassing them every morning for like a week, 2 weeks straight. Um,
So when you say harassing them, man, paint a picture for me. I want to know.
no,
I
so
want to know what these interactions look like.
if
Tell us
you
what these
if
interactions look
you're a
like.
financial aid director and you know how people you got your job, you come in with your coffee, your bag, your routine, and it's this young man that's sitting by your door every morning that's trying to get an update. That's who I was. I was the person who came to the door to the financial aid director for an update for a week straight. The financial aid director got tired of me, sent me to the dean of academic affairs. Same routine. I sat in front of. I figured out what his office was. His at the time it was Frank Ransberg. I remember his name. Sat there in the back every morning. And I remember probably like by the time we got to the second week, I was sitting outside waiting on him to come in. And when he got out the door and saw me, he dropped his head and shook his head like this dude is not going nowhere. And I just remember I told him, I'm like, I'm not going back to Chicago. Like I need to be in school. He called the financial aid office. I don't know what he said or what took place, but Mr. Bell was enrolled in school. And I was, from there went on to get a college degree, pledged Omega Psi Phi, became a senior senator with the SGA. Was NABA president, National Association of Black Accountants. Very active in the College of Business. So it had some of the great times of my life at Southern University, and Southern really molded me to be a man. Coming from the South Side of Chicago, um, I didn't know how to tie a tie when I came to Southern. I learned your line brother TJ taught me how to tie a tie. My DP. That's how I learned how
Shout
to
out TJ.
to tie a tie. Um, through Omega Psi Phi, those type of things. At Southern Business School, they taught me how to properly eat when you're on a job interview, how to interview, prepare
Yeah.
you for corporate America. Um, so it was just a fabulous experience. And hey, man, that's who I was. I wasn't giving up. They grit.
Yeah, man, I love that story, but probably more than that, man, I love how you are able to connect those dots, you know, of the things that Southern did for you. The things that this HBCU was able to do for you. Man, you said one thing. You said a couple of things actually. You said you were this kid from Chicago. You're looking out the window. You're this kid from Chicago who just wants to be in college, and you told the guy, "Hey, man, I'm not going back to Chicago." So we see AB now. You know the success of AB. You just told us the story. Man, take us back just a little bit more, and man, AB is a kid. Tell us about AB, the kid from Chicago. What lit that fire for you to say, "No, man, I want to go to college"? And then what was it that led you to Southern University?
Hmm. Yeah. So I got a big family. So let me say that my maternal side is from Charleston, Mississippi, Tallahatchie County, which is the same county where what's the young man name that was Lynch? Emmett Till was Lynch. So I would go down there a lot in the summer, see how my great grandparents, worked on the farm, all that good stuff. How they how it actually worked to earn their money. My father, he's from Baton Rouge, actually born in Ulysses, Louisiana. So my family is large from the South. We ended up, coming to Chicago once my father got out the military. Once he here in Chicago, in the mid '80s and late '80s, being black, it was the crack epidemic. I don't care what nobody
Yeah.
say. I remember in the barbershop we was chatting, and I said, man, I can think back in my classroom, at least 50 to 60% of my classmates' parents were abusing crack at the time. You know,
Dang.
um, and they agreed. It was just like it's like when you think back to that age of in the late '80s, early '90s, it was a real issue in the inner city.
Yeah.
And my parents they dealt with drug abuse. They overcame it. And I saw that. I saw drugs being pushed around the neighborhood. I saw my parents fall to divorce from that. And then moving around and things like that until my mother, she got herself together, raised 4 college graduates, phenomenal woman, strong woman. And I tell people about my mother, and they're like, wow, like she really went through this. Like I never think that it seemed like y'all had the perfect life. I'm like, no, we went through some real stuff. So you know,
Shout out to moms.
yeah. So growing up, I always like, why we moving around? Why we don't own a house? So, that financial um inquisitiveness always geared me towards money or something dealing with money. And that's what kind of led me to, majoring in accounting and some around finances of that nature. So I kind of took hold to that. And I knew like those things that happened in my life, I knew I needed to get an education because I knew it couldn't take away from me. And I knew that, um, once I did get the education, that I would ensure that, my kids didn't have to go through what I went through in college. But now I'm an adult with kids, and so it's a different type of pressure, right? So they're
Hmm.
living a life that I dreamed of, and now you have to kind of teach them along the way and embed something in them a little bit different than what I went through. So it's a whole, that's probably my biggest pressure, Mike, right now. It's like
Listen,
teaching this. I got to
man.
teach these two boys to be. I got to prepare them to be men. You know, this is
Yeah.
a real responsibility.
So, man, just I'm as I think of different ideas, for the podcast. That's actually one of the things I thought about, and it was just, man, having a conversation about fatherhood because I'm in the same situation. My children are growing up completely opposite from the way that I did,
Hmm.
right? So I remember. Now this is crazy. Y'all don't judge me, okay? But I remember being upset that their grandfather could pick them up from the bus stop when it was raining, And while that seems like a little small thing, I was like, man, it's a little rain. Little rain ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Right.
I had to walk in the rain. They can walk in the rain, just thinking, it's one of those character building things, right? But then when I thought about it, I was like, but if they were my grandchildren and I was in a situation where I can go pick my grandkids up from the bus stop and they didn't have to walk home, I would do that.
Hmm.
And I know that's like a little small, trivial seeming thing, man, but it is really a challenge. It is a challenge, man, to raise our kids because they have all of the things that I'm not going to necessarily say all of the things, but they have access to things that, like you said, man, that we dreamed of.
No,
So
they
we're
got
able
it
to.
all, Mike. Don't they? They got it all.
Yeah, we can't, man. Listen, but that's another, like I said, that's another podcast for another day. So man, I'm definitely I'm gonna have to bring you back on so we can really talk about that. Man, let me just pause for a second. So if you're listening to the audio podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, so that they can tell another friend. All right. Again, we got this brother Alton Bell here. Alton, I know you do work in the community as well. So before we kind of jump into the next part of this, talk a little bit about the work that you're doing in the community in Chicago.
Um, so one, I'm a board member of the Calahan Foundation. It's an inner city foundation where we raise money to send inner city kids to college. I'm the scholarship chair in regards to that. So, help raise funds there and to help select scholars to go to college because I know, like, pound for pound, you get a college degree, it far outweigh whatever your earning power is. And then, from a business standpoint in the community, I always do a annual back to school supply giveaway. To help the kids get motivated to go back to school, book bags, supplies, whatever they need, and then just anything that where I could step in. When last year when it was in the middle of COVID, and then when we had the riots up here, so many stores were looted. So I put together a hot meal giveaway for the seniors and for those in need. And then also I partner with a local pharmacy to help fill prescriptions for the elderly because a lot of the Walgreens and a lot of prescription CVS's of that nature, they were closed. So I just, felt like I need to step up and do something. And shout out to my team here at Bell Tax, which is majority family, my sisters, um, to help pull that together and step in and be a blessing where we need it to be.
Man, you are, and I'm not saying this tongue in cheek, man. You are a hero. So when we when we think about community stalwarts and things like that, we don't always know what we're looking for. So if you're watching, if you're listening, I'm telling you right now that you're hearing from and you're looking at a guy who's a neighborhood hero. Man, I look up to you. So before we jump into this next section, man, you've given us a lot of good stuff. But if you could take all of that and sum it up, tell us what is your why?
My why, I mean, man, my why is to be, live out God's grace because He's giving me grace every day. Uh, to be the best husband to my wife, be the best father to my kids, and be the best son to my parents. You know, so family means everything to me. So those things, God and family, you could put them in that God, family, and business. Those
That's
are my
good.
three.
That's good. God, family, and business. So let's talk about your business a little bit. Before we
Mm-hmm.
do that, man, tell us. It's Bell Tax Accountants. But if somebody needs to find you and they're like, okay, man, I got to find this brother because I want him to do my business taxes or I want him to do my personal income taxes. Where can we find you?
Go to my website. It's bell-tax.com. Once again, it's www.bell, BELL dash tax, TAX.com. You can go there. It has our email. You can shoot us an email. You can request a meeting. You can even upload your tax documents to get started right away and someone to contact you within 48 hours. So that's the best way to reach me. If you don't want to go directly to the website, just Google Bell Tax in Chicago. I'm sure we'll come up. We invested a lot of money in the web presence, so we get a return on that. So, that's the best way to reach me. From a personal income tax standpoint, we do all that. It's nothing under the sun we really can't do. As a business owner, we can help you come up with a tax plan and strategy to help you keep more money in your pocket so you can grow grow your wealth. That's what we in business for, right? And no need in hustling if we're gonna pay all these taxes to Uncle Sam and let Congress do what they want with it. You need to save it and build it up. for your family and legacy.
You heard the brother. If you out there hustling, but you losing all your money to taxes, you need some help.
Hmm.
So make sure you go to his website. He told you he'll get back to you within 48 hours. Man, what is it like being a tax professional? Is it
Uh,
stressful?
yeah, it is. I would say, with COVID, it was like no other, right? Uh, it really showed like how valuable you are, because so many things happen, man. I mean, we was the center point for all these stimulus checks that were coming out from a personal standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to coordinate that, making sure that you know, people taxes were filed properly. Any question they had regards to their stimulus, what was going on, the next round of stimulus, then the third round of stimulus, um, and then with business owners, right? So business owners, everyone shut down, including ourselves. When it was March of 2020, we didn't know what today would look like, 2021. We just know
Yeah.
that everything was shut down. So you business owners who work for decades aren't able to earn a living, so you know they're coming to you nervous, frightened, what to do, and you're trying to guide them or help them keep calm of what options they had financially through potential SBA grants or what they should do in regards to laying off or closing or letting go employees. So it's you were almost everything to everybody at a small amount of time, So
Yeah.
it was a good feeling if you're able to step up and meet the challenge. But at the same time, it was stressful. I gained some COVID weight like everybody else, but I had the I had the extra added pressure just, of the additional work and additional stress of what went on in the industry, what was going
All right. I want to ask this one question about tax. I'm trying to keep it real simple.
on.
The average American, do they pay too much tax or not enough?
The average working American, let me say the average middle class American, the average
Okay.
middle class American carries the burden of the majority of the tax in this country.
Because I know I pay too much
Yeah,
taxes, damn it.
yeah, yeah. You get
Man.
tax. I mean, and look, you in Texas, you don't even have state income tax. So just imagine if you live. That's why you guys got all these California transplants coming to Texas because in
Yeah, yeah,
California,
yeah.
they got a 13% state income tax on top of whatever federal tax, on top of whatever Social
Woo.
Security and Medicare that they have.
Well,
So
let me roll mine back just a little bit then. Let me roll that back just a little bit.
so Texas is not a bad deal. Yeah, but
True,
there's
true,
ways. I
true.
mean, there's ways from a let me say this about the whole tax piece. Um, as an employee, it's called earned income. That's the highest or the most tax income. It's just
Hmm.
really no way around it because you pay Social Security and Medicare on the taxes. They're going to take that regardless. That's like 15% off top. And then you get into your whatever your average tax rate is. It could be 15, 20%. You already 35% of your income is taxed. So
Yeah.
the way around is own a business or be an investor.
Okay. Okay. The way around it. So listen, he told you I'm not gonna go. We're not gonna go all the way into that. So maybe I can bring this brother back, or you go to his webpage, right? But he told you the way around it is to own a business or be an investor. Own a business or
Yeah,
be an investor. So I'm trying to get my life together in those areas. All right, brother. So you wear all of these hats. You're a tax professional. How do you sleep?
I sleep good at night. I
That's
sleep
what's
good
up.
at night, man. There's no sense in worrying, right? Um, if you're gonna worry, don't pray. If you don't pray, don't worry, right? So
There it
just
is.
I just don't, I've been through some stressful points in my life. I've been through some challenges. I have been through some sleepless nights. Um, you just gotta let go and let God have His will. And I'm not just saying that tongue in cheek. A lot of times, you really physically can't do anything. So the best thing for you to do is get some rest and think through things of what your next step will be, whatever you're dealing with. So that's just kind of how I take it.
There it is, man. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. This next segment, we're going to talk about recommended books, recommended reading. So, what are you reading right now, and what would you recommend to our listeners and watchers?
I just finished the E Myth when I was on vacation, the E Myth CFO. I'm always trying to read something to kind of help me take my business or add value to any business owner I can. That's what I just finished reading. One thing that I do recommend that people read, and this you don't have to be a business owner, whatever profession. I recommend the One Thing. It's called the One Thing, and the One Thing it helps you figure out what your one thing is. If it's that one thing for the day, that's one thing for the week, that one thing for the month, or whatever the year. It kind of helps you focus on that because we got so many things that's grabbing at our attention, right? We can't even focus,
Right,
man. The
right, right.
phone, social media, our work, our family, emails, text messages, um, children, whatever it is. I mean, you need something to kind of take a step back, and that's why I recommend it. It even has a podcast, the One Thing, and I listen to the podcast religiously as well. The One
Okay.
Thing.
So, who is the author of the one thing?
Um, man, who is that guy? You're gonna make me
Yeah.
Google
If,
it.
yeah. If you don't have it right off, that's fine. Because I want to make sure that I put it
Oh,
in the
Gary
show
Keller.
notes. Gary Keller. All right.
Yeah,
The one thing by Gary Keller.
I think
All right.
he's one of the founders of Keller Williams Realty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
Okay. Anything else? Any other books?
Nope. I got The Blessed Life. That's on deck next.
Okay. All right. All right. What are you listening to right now? So when you're out running, you say you're out there on the lakefront, you're getting your jog in on your bike. What's in your ears?
I go back and forth, man. 90s hip hop running. If I'm in a laid back mood, to be honest, man, I go to some of that old school 70s and 80s stuff. Um,
Okay.
that
Okay.
got like Frankie Beverly and Mays. I got a pretty dope old school mix. It got like the whispers on there, the Dells. It's just real old soul. That's from hanging around
Okay.
listening to the even got some Bobby Womack on there. It's that's from hanging around the old folks, man.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
being grown.
Do you got some Stevie on there? Some Stevie Wonder?
I got some Stevie Wonder. I got a little bit of Michael Jackson in there. So I got like little hits um, here and there from. I even got a song of Johnny Taylor in there.
Okay. That's that Mississippi right there.
Yeah.
All right, let me ask you this, man. If you could if you could only listen to one album from the 90s hip hop, right? So it's like, man, the rest of your life you running, but you only got one soundtrack. You only got one album. What album would it be?
Oh man, that's tough, Mike. That's tough. You put me in a
That
predicament.
yeah, that's a tough one, man. Because listen, we know, man, that the 90s hip hop is unmatched, man. It's unmatched in my professional opinion.
Oh man, which one of them albums?
Who's your favorite artist?
Jay Z is my favorite artist, but Jay
Okay.
Z in he didn't come along to the late '90s. So
Right.
some of those
So
albums I wouldn't rock with like all the way through. He really didn't start hitting home into like those 2000s.
okay, what's your favorite Jay-Z album? My brother and my nephews were talking about this the other day. What's your favorite? Or what do you think his best work was?
His best work,
Yeah.
hmm, is either the is it Blueprint or Black Album.
Rumor has it, the Blueprint classic. That's my personal favorite, man. The Blueprint, man, the Blueprint was as an amazing album. The Black Album is good too.
Yeah,
Are you not entertained? Okay. All right. So I'm gonna let you off the hook. I'm gonna let you off the hook there. So
yeah.
we'll
Let
say,
me
all
out.
right,
Let me off the
he
hook,
listened
man.
to Jay-Z. I'm gonna let you
I'm
off the
from
hook
up
there.
north, and I had the down south. So '90s. I had, I know y'all love UGK. I used to UGK, Eight
Yeah.
Ball, MJG. The
No doubt.
Outcast. Then I had the
No
the
doubt.
Tupac and the Biggie. Like if
Yeah.
like if it was a rotation, that was my rotation, man. Like that was my rotation albums. Up,
A,
and they're
a
from,
diverse
yeah, yeah,
a diverse palette.
yeah, yeah. That's
A diverse palette.
yeah,
Yeah, man, you can't go wrong there, man. You can't go wrong there. All right. Um, podcasts. You listen to any podcasts?
yeah. I listen to yours. The network
There it is.
podcast. So that's highly recommended. The
Boom,
network. Michael
boom. There it is.
Prajon. That's a
Appreciate that.
podcast I
Appreciate that.
strongly recommend. Uh, the Potter's House. I
Much
listen to
love.
TD. That's a
Okay.
podcast I listen to. Um,
Yeah.
EYL, Earn Your Leisure. I listen to that podcast. Um, and the one thing, those some
Okay.
those my top podcasts. On four of those.
That's a good list, man. That's a good list. I listen to the
Okay.
Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes as well.
Okay.
All right, man. So we're now at the portion where we do rapid fire, but I've
Mm-hmm.
also added some word association. So we're gonna go rapid fire first,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll go word association. They're both very similar. Okay, both very similar. All right, you ready for this, man?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna start you off like this: Taste of Chicago or the Bayou Classic.
Bayou Classic.
Okay. Summertime Shy or Summers Down South.
Summertime Shy Man. Well, let me say
Okay.
this. Depending on what stage, as a kid, summertime down south. As an adult, summertime shy. So let me say that.
Okay. Okay.
There's a
If you could
reason
have
though.
oh, go ahead. Go
Man,
ahead. Let us know.
down south, I grew up, I used to go down south in the summer, bro, and we would literally play outside and be like full of dirt and dust and throwing rocks and doing some of everything and my grandparents, they had a farm. We would go out there, have my grandfather with the cows, go out to the barn with the pigs. Those are some moments. It's just, oh man, it's some great times as a kid, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as an adult, summertime shy, you guys gotta do it. I don't know what the media puts out about Chicago, but sometimes I be in my own world and I be like, that happened here? Wow, okay. So
Yeah. 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 That stuff is I mean, just with all things, man, most of that stuff is a little more compartmentalized than people realize, but it makes national media. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
um go back and fix some of the mistakes I did, you know. If I could go
Okay.
back and fix some of the mistakes, I hurt some people or did some things that I probably should not have did, just in life. Period. If I could go back and learn the lesson before I actually did it, that's the superpower I have. It's like,
Okay.
why you got to go through this hardship to learn this lesson? But I guess
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess so.
Okay,
That's part of life, huh? Right? You live and
that
you
is.
learn, as they say.
You live. You definitely. Well, some people learn. The key, a key, is to live and learn. Some people just. Anyway, AB, do aliens exist?
No.
Do you drink coffee?
Yes. Every morning.
All right. Cardio or weights?
Both.
Talk or text?
Man. Talk.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Untruthful people. There's no reason to lie.
Definitely. How would America change if everyone, regardless of age, could vote?
America wouldn't change.
Ooh.
That's a
Okay.
deeper conversation, but
That is. That
I
is.
don't think
That
America
is.
would change. America still hasn't acknowledged one of their deepest sins, uh, that they live that still haunts them to this day, and hasn't even made like any real efforts to kind of remediate or cure that sin from early on. They try to put some ointment on it, but it hasn't helped. So
Man, so I'm listening to you and I can see like the guy or woman in the back of the room just stand up and start the slow clap. Man, that's like you said, that's deep. All right, got a couple more things, man. Favorite vacation spot?
my favorite one was Turks and Caicos.
And then what is the one thing that everybody needs to know about taxes?
Um, investment and business ownership taxes are cheaper than being an employee. That's tax.
That is, listen, I'm telling y'all, you need to go to the website. Get to the website. All right. All right. So now we're going to do word association. I'm going to throw out a word, a term, and then you give me what you got. All
Okay.
right. The IRS.
Internal Revenue Service. I'm a nerd. That's what I think of it.
Okay. Um, the Chicago Bulls.
Michael Jordan. That's all I can think of.
The Chicago Bears.
Ah, they hurt our feelings for the past 2 decades.
Oh man. Ooh, sound like all right. Chicago Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. Uh, it's a good team.
All right. The White Sox.
South Side.
The Cubs.
North Side.
The Qs.
The Bros.
Audits.
Oh man, it's a pitta, a pain in the A.
I got you. I got you. Um, the Bayou Classic.
The first time attending, jaw dropping. This point in my
Okay.
life, exhausting.
Okay. I got you. The Taste of Chicago.
Hot.
Uh oh man, I got a little thing on my end. I hope this is
Oh, it's
all right.
back. We good.
There we go. All right, we good. All right. And then the last one, historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs.
Um, preparing black men and women for life in America. I mean, well, not even life in America, preparing them for life overall. I think when you think of HBCUs, you know, it's a time in your life where you'll be around the majority of your people and be able to
Mm-hmm.
express yourself, develop yourself, and learn while being yourself. in any point of time in your life. Because once you leave there, you're a minority. Once you walk off that campus, you are a minority. So
It's good stuff, man.
I,
Good
I
stuff. Good
highly
stuff.
encourage anyone, if you got the option to go to an HBCU or your child does, send them there. Because it'll be the only time they'll be a majority for them 4 or 5 years. After that, they back to being a minority.
Got to get that experience, man. It's a strongly and highly recommended experience that all young people should have.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna leave it there. Man, that was good. All right. This segment is called You Didn't Ask. This is your opportunity to give unsolicited advice. Nobody asked for it, but you're gonna give them to them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have for You Didn't Ask?
Um, from a financial standpoint, let me think. Did you know that this is some stuff I've been working on, chopping up with my wife, is that cash, that life insurance set up as a cash value life insurance grows tax free, and then it's not subject to taxes when you retire, so you can use it as additional cash when you retire. It's not subject to bankruptcy if you're ever sued. If they tried to garnish or take away your wealth, it's not included in that. And then also, when you get to retirement, if you ever got sickly and you needed to go into like a home or something like that, um, they make you like exhaust all your assets before you use any type of government assistance. The life insurance is never counted as your asset. It's almost like hidden money. I just learned this about that portion because a friend of mine, his parent had to go into a nursing home. They had to spend all her liquid assets before um, getting any type of assistance. So all the money that she was leaving to her kids, she had to exhaust it to go into a nursing home, which
Wow.
is unfortunate.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Hmm.
that is good
Yeah.
information.
So
So
get life insurance. I know, like people, we ducking it down, like, oh man, they trying to sell me a life policy. Get you a universal or a whole life insurance. Your lineage will appreciate it. You'll appreciate it later on in life as well. I wish I knew early on. I mean, I got some good stuff in place, but man, I would have bought multi-million dollars worth when I was young and healthy, because it get more expensive the older you get. Yeah.
man, listen, that is good. Y'all didn't ask, but there it is. Get that life insurance. Man, we actually the
Oh, they
episode
can
that
reach my
that
wife for life insurance.
come,
She's a
come on, man, give it a
she's a
plug.
round table president, State Farm life insurance agent. She has her own agency. So if you ever need anything like that, go to my website and I'll direct you. Just reach out, shoot me an email.
That is, man, the episode that's actually coming out today is Freddie from State Farm, a
Okay.
brother that I know. And we actually kind of talked a little bit about insurance. So, AB, man, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Man, this conversation has been awesome. This is the network.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This is my attempt at creating a modern podcast version of the Negro Motorist Green Book. Each interview, we're building. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but somebody needs to turn their alarm
No,
off.
you can't hear that.
Cool. Each interview, we're building a network of talented professionals that you can reach out and touch. Every single episode is designed to help the physical, mental, spiritual, and financial health of Black people living in and traveling through America. AB, man, God bless you. I appreciate you,
Appreciate
brother. Welcome to the network.
you. All right. We still need to talk offline when you start recording.